recording. So right now, all right, what happened? Okay, avoid legal stat. Oh, okay, all right. So it said it's
Okay,
still
there.
recording.
Okay, hold on. It's just taking a long time. It's just being slow. There it goes. It's asking me for approval.
All right,
Okay.
is
Now I
it
see both of us in two little screens.
okay? Okay, all right. So it's recording right now.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
right now we had 40 seconds of recording.
Well, we just want to talk about the divine feminine and divine masculine. It's a rough journey for some. Some may no. If anybody says that the journey is easy and they're having no problems, that's a
That they
problem
ain't on. They ain't on
because
the right journey.
that means that you're not standing in your truth and you're lying because it's rough.
Or you ain't with your twin flame. And
Or you
congratulations.
ain't with your twin flame.
Right. So
You just with
enjoy your
you just with the scrub in the passenger side.
stop it. Stop it. Scrub.
I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna stand in my truth at all times. And if
Mhm.
I am not, please let me know, angels.
Right. Right. Okay. So this is our testing of our ability to have a conference with me, Ia Patsy, and Kaida. So we are going to be discussing different topics and different issues concerning the twin flame journey in regards to the divine feminine. And right now I'm in the car and she's in her home. And like I said, this is just a test, so there's no telling what you might see in this test. Yay. But Kate is one of my subscribers and we have connected. She too is on her twin flame journey. And as I've always said, I'm learning this as I'm going along. And she has information that has been very helpful to me. And so we both decided that it would be good to share with the collective because we ain't the only feminines going through these challenges on our own. And also, our divine masculines are going through challenges at the same time that we are going through our challenges. And we, for the most part, are a little ahead of them, but it's still frustrating for us. So, Kata has been generous enough to agree or to, yeah, agree to share her expertise and her knowledge and her experiences on her journey. And so it's been very helpful to me. And I want to tell her how much I appreciate her wisdom.
And I appreciate Miss Patsy as well because
Mhm.
a lot of things was being led by only by the Holy Spirit because I was able to come into her channel by way of her energy and my energy connecting. I didn't understand what the purpose was at that time. So all of us have a divine plan and we just have to open up and be aware of where we're going. When you ever get on something and you wonder like, oh wow, why am I here? It drew me to her because she's part of my soul group. So this is why we're doing this, because we're supposed to connect in God's soul divine plan to help each other heal and to heal other people and other women. Not
Right.
just women and men, it helps you with your children, all of that, your job, just gravitating through the world to be able to make it happen for you, make life happen for you, and not life happen to you.
Right. And what I was feeling over the last few weeks, being part of this twin flame journey, and through the lessons that have been coming through the readings that I have been, doing, and the messages that the spirit has been bringing through me, that myself and other feminines are getting frustrated with the journey because not only is it a hard journey, but we're not able to talk about our journeys because of the secrets that we are holding for other people or holding for ourselves, or the inability to find someone who will understand what we're going through. Because our friends are, normally women talk to each other about stuff. We share, we brainstorm, we express ourselves. That's how we do. But
Yes.
because this journey is the way it is, it lends itself to being more secretive, and that also helps add to the frustration of the journey, because we're not talking it out and we're not getting it out, and we're holding all these secrets. And recently, a lot of the messages have been about telling your truth, standing up in
Yes.
your truth. But at the same time, you're afraid because you don't want to mess up your thing. You don't want to piss off your masculine. So
Right.
Spirit was so generous and benevolent to say, you know what? Let's find a way for you to talk to somebody about it. And just the few conversations that Kaida and I have been able to happen to share has been very helpful to me. It has helped me release a lot of the frustrations that I'm going through, and also being able to speak it out is, I think, satisfying one of the lessons, one of the requirements of speaking your truth. So instead of speaking my truth and hurting my masculine's feelings, because they're all a little sensitive right now, and or just telling out stuff to people who won't understand or whatever, this has been the way to release, tell my truth, make me feel better, raise my vibration up, because now I'm not feeling like just totally frustrated about everything. I'm not
Because you're
holding it.
not holding that in.
I'm not holding it, and I'm able to talk about it with somebody who understands, someone who's not going to judge, someone who's been there herself, who's gone through the same time. And as we've gotten to talk, we've found that even our journeys are quite similar in very unexpected ways. But even that made me feel better, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm not the only one who is going through this horrible, horrible situation. And
No, man.
it's made me feel so much better. So again, I just want to thank the creator, and I thank my divine soul team, and I want to thank Kaida's Egel for leading her towards me, and allowing me to be open and accepting and receptive of that. So um we are going to talk about this problem of having to hold secrets,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that.
That's the hard part of holding the secrets, because when you're standing in your truth, it's like you have to hold this information. That's almost like what God gives to you to hold for you. He didn't tell you to go out and spread the word about it. When he wants you to go spread the word, he'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like holding a secret like that. You have to
Mm-hmm.
hold it till it's time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I had to learn about timelessness. You
Mm-hmm.
know, always talk about, oh, God, I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that. We all have been like that. Women, men, I can't wait for God to send me a good woman. I can't wait for God to send me a good man. Well, he sent them to us. It's just that he sent us what we thought we wanted at the time. So he
Mm-hmm.
the desires of your heart. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that we need to be open and receptive to know which ones they are. We keep
Right.
trying to make for a lifetime when they only supposed to be a season.
Well, right. And there are people who are our soulmates, who are only there for a season. They're not
Right,
our spiritual twin. They're not the person that we're supposed to be with forever until the end of time. They are just the
right.
person who needs to come through our lives right now to help us learn a lesson, to complete our contract, or work towards our contract, and for them to work towards theirs. But then
Yes.
there's those of them who really are our twins. And so the challenge stretch, if he's your twin or she's your twin, this is it. And you're going to go through these struggles and these lessons with this person, because it ain't going to be easy. This is
Right.
not
And the
going
thing
to
about it is that those metaphors that they used when we were coming up about missing your mark. You're about to miss the biggest mark of your life if you give up.
Right. But it's a challenge because it's so much easier to say, you know what, we can leave this to the next time. Right? Like Erica Badu says, I guess I'll see you next lifetime because, maybe we'll be butterflies because
Right,
I can't do this no
right.
more. At the point where you're like, oh, I can't do this no more. And they are at the same point too. And they ain't even
I
where
ain't gonna
we.
be able to do it another 36,000. Another 36,000 years. I ain't gonna be able to do it.
No.
Because technically in the heavens, a day for us in 24-hour times is 1,000 years.
Okay.
So when you think of the 39,000 years, that's really not that far off, but it's far. We'll be gone.
Yeah.
So
Going
our
at.
job is to lead next waves, to teach the next wave, to teach the next
Mhm.
wave, to help the next wave.
Right. Right.
We've
So
got
we.
to do something about it because our children, we instead of imposing how we feel and implying and imposing that guilt of feeling like our children are falling off in this world because
Mhm.
of the way the society is set up for them as far as the matrix is concerned, they don't have their best interests at heart. So
Mhm.
they've tried to hold and place our hands on disciplinary actions within the home. So that also gives us a way to where we're just like, we need to attack that area as well. Because a lot of people's children are growing up, with their surroundings, not even thinking about that the fact that, hey, there are consequences, real, true consequences.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But
I got family members that would, like last night, I'm having to deal with that. Like I felt a young lady in the family, decides like, oh, I just wanted to see what that feels like. So you decide to cut yourself? What? Come on. There's
right.
got to be something else going on at home.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
just at home. What's going on in your mind that you feel that you cannot deal with it? Because once you get to be an adult, these things become harder to deal
Mhm.
with.
Mhm.
So you
Right.
need to
Well, that's
attack them
why
while we need to attack them while they're
I'm
young.
learning the tools now to share with them. So
Yes.
again, with the tools that we learned about being able to accept the situation, accept the character flaw, accept whatever the challenge is, acknowledge where it came from, acknowledge the hurt. Where was the original sin? Childhood traumas, daddy issues, mommy issues, whatever the heck it is. And doesn't mean that you have to solve it right this minute, but just the fact that you know that this is the root of this. So I'm feeling
Right.
all this and stuff because I have abandonment issues, or I'm
Right.
feeling that I can't trust because I have trust issues. I'm all nervous because just the fact that you like, okay, where did this come from? Try to, pinpoint where it is, accept that that is where it came from, and then acknowledging it, accepting where it came from, and releasing it, knowing that that's where it came from,
Right,
and
but you also have right. In
believing
some of
that
most when it
it
comes
heals.
to sexuality, yeah. When it comes to when sexual abuse, then yeah, because most of the time you become like maybe it was something I did.
Right, right, and you have to let that go.
And it starts with the self-identity. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I know that this is my twin as well, because he's a counselor. So it's kind of, our relationship is like boom, boom, boom. Treat our relationship with the love that you're supposed to, and don't analyze me like I'm your
Patient.
patient.
Right.
You know what I mean? And,
But
and we
time,
kind of clash a bit at
time,
times when it comes to that.
but
But
at the
we
same
were
time,
talking about having a.
but we're analyzing them too. You analyze them
I
too.
know, right?
So you're
You
mirroring his
know,
act. You
and I
don't
don't
like
analyze you on
it.
a continuous basis as he would,
Right.
but he, we're talking about having a spiritual healing center of such like this, where
Mm-hmm.
people don't feel um belittled or shunned off because they went to church and they might have looked like the cat just drug in, or they might have just had you know, how women judge other women when they come into church and be like, look at what she got on. Well, first of all, maybe that's all she had. She'd be glad she's there. And number two, why not do something to assist her instead of talking about her? Why don't you and some of the ladies in the church get together and pull some things together and be like, you know, hey, we network within the church, and you know, some of the ladies, some of the sisters thought that these are some of the things that, you know, we pulled out of the bunch that we thought that maybe you could benefit from, and leave it at that. Because if in fact that soul, regardless of what its outer exterior looks like, that soul drug her to that church, not drug her, led her to that church and said she needed some food from God, not from you.
Right. And remember not to judge her if she doesn't accept the clothing, because maybe that's
Right.
something that has to do with her pride and, you know,
Right.
and her ability to accept help and things like that. So the best thing that we need to do for one another is just be supportive, let each other know that we're there for them if they require the help, if they need the help, if they like the help, and let them know that we're open to them and that we're not going to judge them. And that's what this is about. Learning not to judge others, because we don't want nobody judging us. And then we can stop judging ourselves. We can stop making, you know, replaying the negativity tape in our heads about ourselves and what we do and who we are and what we look like and how fat we are and how, you know, whatever. If we can learn how to be patient with ourselves, just as we're being patient with those around us, to be good to ourselves, just like we try to be good to other people.
The
Be
starting point of that would be able to address the dark shadow part of yourself, as far as finding the worst thing that you can think of that you have done to someone or something. And that's when you really, really think about that and you go, damn, I have no right to judge no one. Not against them, but against God. Think about the worst thing that you have ever done that was an offensive to God. And you use that to your advantage to know that the fact that, dang, I have no business judging no one.
true. And
It's
that,
one thing to sit and talk about someone because in differences of stating facts, because when you sit up and you gossip, that is part of the Jezebel and spirit, and the spirit of where you don't have proper discernment. You're
right.
more worldly of the world than you're not than being in the world.
Yes. And also recognizing the the Jezebel spirit within ourselves, the Lilith spirit within ourselves. I did that this morning. I really was like, yeah, you know what? I do have a Lilith spirit, and I ain't mad about it. You know, okay, so that's it. And that's the part of me that demands equality. That's the part of me that is very aggressive about my autonomy, my independence, right?
And
That
that's so much standing in your anatomy of your truth. That's why God gifts you in different ways. So when we think that one person is being rewarded in certain ways, where we thinking like, oh, I've been doing good all my life, how come they getting all this crap? That's materialistic stuff. You don't know what they got in their game to do that. But they also even have been such a um negative force within their own self by calling themselves bitches, or yeah, I know I'm a hoe. Well, guess what? You say stuff like that don't mean nothing. It means to the other, it don't mean nothing to the other person. But guess what? That person was standing in their truth. They
right,
know that they lose. They
right.
know that they are promiscuous.
True. And again, we call people loose and promiscuous and or hoes and all of that based on societal paradigms. So we are
Yeah.
using these societal paradigms to again judge other people, especially other women, because a woman and a man could have the same amount of sexual experiences, and that woman will be a hoe, and that man will be just being a man, right? So
Oh
again,
yeah.
and we have to understand that our sex, the ability
Oh,
to procreate and all that, that's a gift, and it's not to be condemned. We have to understand that if you even go by the scriptures, it says that the marriage bed is not defiled. So as long as two people agree to something, then there's no sin in that. All right. So there's no judgment in that. But at the same time, understanding that marriage is a construct of patriarchy. Okay. There is no such thing like that in heaven. You know, God is not looking for that from us. He wants us to be fruitful and multiply. Sure. And if you find someone and you love them and you can commit to them, wonderful. But I don't think that God judges someone who is married in a relationship at a higher level of personhood, so to speak, than someone who's committed and they don't have a marriage license. Because it's not about the license is man collecting a fee. $35 for the state. God don't know nothing about that. You could go out in the woods, stand underneath the
that's
tree.
man-made law.
Right, it's man-made, Lord. You could go to the woods, stand underneath the tree, and promise your fidelity and your love and to work hand in hand with your partner. And that is just as sacred as going to the church and the bells ringing and people throwing rice and killing the birds. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
the
they didn't have
same.
that they ain't back there. The ancestors jumped over a broom.
Right. And before that, it was just somebody brought goats to your father, and okay, take the girl, take her. You know what I'm saying? It was, you don't need all of
Right.
this. What we have allowed ourselves to fall into, and then we take that, and then we want to judge other people's relationships and other people's situations when we
Right,
really
but then you
not
got
for
your families
everybody.
also that get intertwined. You also have your families that get intertwined with that and interfere with that, and then it becomes, well, she was better than the first wife. You're married. Got
Again,
it.
because
She ain't
they're
about nothing. She ain't even fit to wipe the caboose.
they because they're still in their low energy too. We are leading the way for not just our twin. We're leading the way for our families and for our communities, and that's what we have to recall. That this is we got jobs to do, and
Right,
it's hard work, and that's why it's hard, so that we can be able to tell one another, it ain't just you. This is part of the journey. Don't be
right.
discouraged. Keep up
You
the good
can't
work.
leave it up. You can't leave it up to your mama or your
No,
daddy or whoever, your pastor. You
no.
looking for and stop shaking your fist at God about
Mm-hmm.
it, because
Mm-hmm.
he gives you the knowledge to know what to do. He
And I
said
think
to come to him. He didn't say go to mama, daddy, sister, cousin, pastor. He said come to him.
right. And as I was told that, a year from the time that I was getting this reading by this Babalawo, that my whole life was going to change, and I was going to understand that the only thing that I could rely on in this life was me and God. And I couldn't believe that was going to happen. I was like, what, because I'm a self-sufficient person. I take care of myself. But he was really talking about actually any support system that I have. That there was no one, not my mother, not my sisters, not my friends, not my children, not the person that I was in a relationship with. It was just going to be me standing there naked with all of the emotions and all of the feelings and all of the hurt and all of the pain and everything by myself. And the only thing that I could do is reach up my hand and ask for help from the divine, because there was nothing else I could do. There was nowhere else I could turn. And then
I
after
want to
all
talk.
that,
I want to talk about that feeling. That feeling. Now you want that.
Oh yeah. So now
That
I'm good
chasing
with it.
of his divine touch. You be like, oh Lord, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Because now I'm good with it. Before I felt abandoned and I'm reaching out, but once I reached out and then I saw what the gift that was waiting for me, the help that was coming to me, I'll do this. Yeah, it's all right. That this feeling is the gift in and of itself. Just like when I was doing that reading, the guy was like, "Oh, why you say it's cool?" Like I can't even explain it to you. It's a bliss. It's a bliss.
Yes.
Think of yourself sometimes because you're like every time you feel yourself going down, it's like there's this little light inside of you that says, "Oh, come on now, come on back over here with us. You don't need to go there. You're past that already. You already went through that. You already, elevated past that to remind you,
Right.
remind me, remind yourself, that it's all right, that it's fine." Because at the end of the day, no matter how sad you are, no matter how hurt you are, you now know that you have the tool of the protection of spirit that's always with you. Even in your hard times, even in your dark times, you're not alone.
They here right now.
Yeah, the
The
creator
spirit
has,
of God is here right now.
yeah, this is all orchestrated. This conversation is orchestrated at this time. I know that. And I have come to really, really believe no matter what the disaster is, whatever the catastrophe is, that there's a reason for it. That is all part of the journey. And I just know the way I reassure myself, even when I get frustrated with the twin divine male, masculine energy, if this is not who I'm supposed to be with after all this stuff, then whoever I'm supposed to be with must be fantastic. It must be more than I
Okay.
ever imagined, things that have never even entered in my mind. So that again is reasserted. As much as I would be sad not to be with my masculine, because I absolutely love him. If I feel this way about him and he ain't the one, then how am I going to feel when I finally get with the one? It's going to
Right.
be explosive. It's going to be galactic. It's going to be electric. So even that acceptance of
Just a little bit.
just going with whatever flow it is that the creator has, just learning how to go with
Yes.
the flow, you know
Yes.
but we still, we're human, so we're going to have our days that we slip, and that's why we're here, so that on the days that we're slipping, we know that we can reach out to one another, and that these conversations will reassure us, and maybe someone will hear the message and relate, just to know, just on this base conversation, that other people are going through the same thing you're going through, and even if it's a little different, we're not we're not there to judge one another. We are here to uplift and support one another as we go through this. And when
Amen.
you, and when you get happy with your masculine, and you don't need to talk to us and listen to us, well, fine, we're good with that too. I ain't mad at you. You
Right,
have,
because they might learn things too. Because I talk about some different types of things when it comes to tantric, Kama Sutra, sacred sex.
yeah. See, now that's the stuff that we need to be getting to too. That's going to be
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
the conversations also. And what we'd also like is for any of the divine feminines out there that have topics that they'd like to discuss, if they could let us know. You can send an email to me at pbtarot7@gmail.com. And Kata, if you have a platform or something that you'd like to share, you can tell the divine feminines or whoever watches this how to contact you, or they could send an email to me and I could forward it to you however way you'd like that to be. But
They can get in touch with me or email me at q's ears are rich too at gmail.com, and that's Q's ears, which is QEARZ dot rich dot the number 2 at gmail.com.
okay, all right. So when we're old, when this is done, I'll put that in the description so that they can
Yeah.
drop down the thing, the list, and see your email address that you can be in contact with. And we would like to include other feminines into this conversation at some point, different topics if you have an expertise. Like Kata has the expertise in the say the word. I can't get Palladium.
Palladian. Just,
Palladium.
just in astrology of Palladians, the
Yeah.
cosmic realms, the
Right.
spirit realms. I work with energy healing. I've had psychology, for a number of years in college. My main major was forensics. I'm just an overall person. I've been very gifted since I was 9. I'm a great manifestor. So I do know alchemy too. So it's kind of like when it's hard for me to even go to the grocery store. I can't stand it.
Too much. Too much. Yeah, too much. But
All those different energies.
that's and
Right.
that affects you because you're an alchemist. Whereas that might not bother
Yes.
me because I'm an empath, so I'm with people's energies more. I can't take crowds. I used to go to the disco sneaking. Wasn't really supposed to be in there. I'd be the girl sitting in the on the couch holding everybody's purse while everybody's up dancing.
Oh
I
no.
go
I'll be making you you couldn't have been my home girl. Cause I'd be like, we
right.
holding our purse, me and you about to party.
No, no. But that's what I'm saying. That's always been. It's too much. It's too
But
much.
then that right, and
It's too
but
much.
your other friends, you look, and friends are a trip, ain't they? They're a
Mm-hmm.
trip. Because you
Mm-hmm.
just because they know they'll be like, oh well, hold my purse. They
Mm-hmm.
instead of the person like analyzing you and be like, yeah, I think she need to bring out that's a part she needs to bring out of herself.
No,
To
they were happy for me to hold the purses. They were good. They were good. They took advantage of the purse. Just like if I'm the designated driver. Oh, she ain't drinking. Okay, so we can get sloppy and carry on, but she'll hold our purses and she'll drive us home. And that's but that's okay. That's all right because I was going to be exposed. I guess because of the environment that I worked in, working in the law enforcement and in the jail with all of that different type of energy, I couldn't take no other extra, little side happy energies on this side. It was like, oh no, my whole thing was getting
That's
no,
why I'm so
don't
connected
please.
with you because I see your energy. I be
Yeah.
seeing your energy when I'm so connected to you that it's just like I see your energy when I see you. And then it's kind of like when people come through the chat, we have to deal with, they don't even realize we got to deal with that energy that you giving and bringing so that we can be able to look at it and analyze. It's like, okay, I feel your energy. You're being real confused.
See, and I'm more patient. Where you'll knock somebody off the chat, and I'm more patient. But that's me. I'm a patient person. That's why I put up with the stuff I put up with in the lessons that I've learned. And there's parts of me that needs to stop being like that. So that's what you're there for, I guess, to be uh to when it's
Well,
too much.
I guess that's another
To
part of
cut
my
down.
integration. That's got to be the part of my integration because I thought about that because I said, well, if I start my channel off and I already got people coming in, I'm gonna be angry at some point because not angry, and I know that I've already um governed myself on that. It's
Yeah,
just
but
that my
short.
patience, yeah, I'm short, and I know that I don't want people to come off thinking like, she mean, she stank. No, I'm real, and I'm
Right,
sorry,
right.
but I've always been like that. And there was something I used to say, and the word was used this morning. And I used to say that I used to use the word overrated,
Mm-hmm.
like only because my siblings used to treat me a certain way. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was because I was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be like, when people used to talk about their sisters and brothers, I'd be like, siblings are overrated. But when my sisters passed away, and now that we're all older and they passed away, I really miss them.
You see how they were rated. They weren't overrated. They did serve a
They
purpose,
weren't
right?
overrated. I really miss them. I miss hearing their voice. I miss hearing laughing with them. Just as you were saying, going out and stuff like that. I would be the one to be like, hey, if I'm not the designated driver, I'm not going because y'all like to drink and one's a crier, one wants to fight.
Oh, okay. All right. Mm.
So I want to drive it
Yeah,
because when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
right. And my sisters are pretty much quite opposite of that, but that's because of the way we were all raised. My mother, she had us under her thumb. My mother is Aries, and she's not having it. She wants to know where everyone is, like military. Where are you at
Yeah,
all
my dad
times?
was like that.
Yeah, you don't need to be out there doing nothing with nobody. You don't need no friends. There's enough of you all to play with each other. She was dead serious with that shit. But we don't like her. Just because she's my sister don't mean I gotta like her. You ain't gotta like her, but that's who you
We
are.
didn't have,
Play.
look, my family did not have that problem. My grandmother had 7 girls and 7 boys.
Oh boy, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
plus 3 extras that passed away before we started counting when we
Mm-hmm.
were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you imagine all those kids having their kids? So every Saturday, we all had to be at my grandma's house. So we didn't have that problem talking about them playing with nobody. And we didn't have nobody to play with.
Yeah, because they had more people to choose from. We only had 4 of us. Okay. And my brother is like, he ain't even trying to be in the same room with us half the time because he's sick of all of these females around him because it's, all 3 sisters, a mother. Oh my God, my poor brother. That's why you don't say too much now. But,
He was the only boy.
yes, yes.
That's how it is with me and my brother. My mom only had 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was my 2 sisters. Well, first it was my oldest sister, then my brother, then my other sister, then me. And then
Mm-hmm.
all the rest of them were, my dad's kids. So we have a blended family. I
Oh,
have never made a difference in none of them, but they've made differences in me. And I could never figure it out. My dad used to always be like, they jealous, Keith. And I used to be like,
that
that ain't the way it is, Dad. That ain't the way it's supposed to be. God don't want that. God, that ain't the way God feel. That's not right. That's
mm-hmm.
how I knew. And I always stuck with that. And that's how I knew that that's everybody's supposed to love the way that God loved. And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually my dad got sick of me with that. He was like, damn it. If you think that everybody's going to think and feel the same way that you do, you're going to be sadly mistaken in this world. I was like,
Yeah,
uh-oh.
but that's you had an innocent energy. You just didn't understand. You want to know why isn't everybody happy and getting along? Why can't
Right.
people understand things? But yeah, that's another experience. For as a boy growing up in a household with 4 girls. Three sisters and a mother. You ain't got no wins. You ain't got no wins. But my mother in the culture, a son is like Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You got a son that is the apple of your eye because daughters are like whatever, but it was like the son is so important to be a boy. So even though he might have felt overrun or inundated and or whatever, my mother made sure that her son would get something before we did. He would
He's a
get something
well,
before.
definitely that I
Yeah.
definitely have to agree with you in that aspect. And I don't even have a boy, but my brother's a mama's boy like that. And we used to,
Mm-hmm.
even as just siblings, the only reason why I said siblings were overrated was because when we used to try to, how siblings used to be like, well, they treating us a certain way, or let's do something exciting for them,
Mm-hmm.
as the kids, for the parents. This
Mm-hmm.
boy could not hold water. He go right back and tell his mama, boy, we said we was trying to surprise mama, boy.
No, because he's thinking down the road. I ain't surprised. I'm gonna let her know, just in case this surprise
But
messes up. I'm gonna
but
still be
we
on
try
her
to
good
tell
side.
him that all his life, like you can't hold water, number one, and you'll tell somebody's business and you're quick to tell her. And we used to tell him that all his life. He 54, 55,
Mm-hmm.
56 years old. He just now realizing that that's true.
Yeah, yeah. But it takes a while for them to learn. Being a mama's boy is a good spot. You
Hello,
know?
cry baby.
Yeah. That's a good space to be in if that's what you want to be. Like my
Right.
mother, it was very
Well,
important to
that's
her that
that's one thing. That's another thing that women need to evaluate too, because they want to know about where they came from, where their
Mhm,
twin or their man is coming from. How you treat
mhm,
your mama is how you gonna be treated too. Now, if he ain't got no good relationship with his mama, he dang sure ain't gonna have no good relationship with you.
right. And then what about those boys that don't have a mama at all? How do they
Right.
learn how to interact with women? Or their mothers were not
They get
nice
in touch with their
or
femininity, their feminine energy, and they balance it out for themselves with
but
them
it's
and God, and that's how they're able to gravitate and know that they didn't have no mama, or they had a halfway decent daddy.
right. But that's again part of their journey and having to understand where certain feelings come from, anger or whatever, frustration, their perception of what they think it is, what it means to be a girlfriend or a wife or a woman, or what is their definition of of femininity? What is their definition of a relationship? What is their definition of a woman? Because that is what will be affecting the way they interact with women. So again, we
Right.
have to be careful about the way we raise our sons, what lessons we teach our sons. All right. And also understand, as you get to know your masculine and as you get to know yourself, look, as you start to know him and he starts to open up, just the little pieces of information. How many sisters and brothers did he have? What kind of household did he grow up in? What did his parents do? Little things that you just, it don't have to be a big serious discussion. You could be talking over a Netflix movie or over popcorn or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the more information that you find out and you retain it, and then you take time to think about it and pray about it, things that you don't understand, ask questions, be communicative, and don't just be sitting there getting all his secrets. You can give up some of yours too. You know, if you're going to talk about, his issues, you got issues also. We all have issues. We all have
The
issues.
one thing
So,
about communication, what you were speaking of about communication, is one of the main things that we fall short on here in the in a, in the three-dimensional, four-dimensional world, where people are still trying to learn themselves and learn and want to have a relationship and still
mm-hmm.
desire and yearn to have a special relationship with them, a personal relationship with them and God, and versus kind of like I was saying about being in that box with God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You and God, you got God in this one box, and then you, your family, your car, your job, and all these other things. Well, we want to be able to make sure that when we
Excuse me,
do
this
these,
FedEx truck just pulled up beside me, and I thought he was getting ready to run into my side door.
I see them too, to
Because
be
there's a
able
truck.
to make sure that we're able to know, lead them to the food, and also try to help them to know exactly what to do mentally by basically, kind of reprogramming your brain from out of the fear-based attitudes and the fear-based reality, because those are the reasons why we fall, because we're fearful of, what if I do it this, or what if I share this or say something to the person and how I'm feeling, I'm gonna lose them. Well, what God puts together and it's for you, it's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah. You might have hurt
It's not
feelings,
gonna
not
go.
talk to each other for a couple of days or a few weeks, but they'll be back and you'll be back. And just get out your feelings, put on your big girl panties, put on your big boy shorts, and let's move on to the next lesson. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see how
how,
this
how
uploads.
many how many minutes we got?
44 minutes and 16 seconds, 17, like that. It's 44. But
All
anyway,
right,
I'm going
nice.
to see what happens. We'll upload it and we'll talk later. Okay? I'll call you back as
And
soon
for
as I
the
do that.
for the record, that it started for 45, whatever minutes that is, it's 111.
Bye.
Yeah. It's
So,
it's 111 here in
bye.
Colorado.